Author's point of view. Mrs. Lim, just a couple of days and you'll be gone. My daughter has grown up so much. She sniffed, wiping the corner of her eye, taking in Yunji's dolled up form. They were in her hotel room, getting her ready for the Yedan. Wine. She's not dying, Mom. Your daughter can come back to meet you whenever you miss her, or better, you go and stay with her. And as expected, her retort earned a shake of Yunji's head, a laugh from her father, and a smack from her mother. Mr. Lim, as if you won't miss her, Wine. Come on, sweetie, cut your old parents some slack. He chuckled, wrapping his arm around Wine, who was busy sorting through Yunji's things so that she wouldn't have any trouble later. Mrs. Lim, tell her, honey. This girl is always fixated on increasing my blood pressure. She fanned herself, and Vian just gave her one look and then turned toward the AC that was on full blast. She sighed. Talk about being dramatic. Vian, your energy is quite high for someone who is old, Dad. Go and fool someone else. She shook her head, and despite her blank face, the family was entertained. They didn't look much into her sarcastic attitude. It was just Vian being Vian. Yunji, Mom, Jion texted me. They are ready and his parents are moving toward the hall. Why don't you and Dad go too? I'll join with Van. Her interruption put a hold on the commotion and her parents happily agreed to walk out of the room. Van, smart move. What do you want? She asked, crossing her arms as soon as Yunji shut the door behind her and turned to look at her. Yunji smiled despite herself. Never could she try to hide anything from Ryan. Yunji, I want to talk. What is up with you, Ryan? I've been noticing you for the last couple of days now. She muttered, walking forward, and Ryan swallowed. Uh-oh. Ryan, what do you mean? Nothing is up with me. The pre-wedding nerves are messing with your head. She shrugged and went back to tidying up the room, as much as her dress would allow her to move. Yunji, is that so? Is that why you are snippier than usual? Is that why you zone out more often? And is that why you are avoiding Jungkook? She questioned calmly, and his name made Wine flinch. His name brought out a fresh wave of tears that she had been suppressing for the past couple of days. Wine turned her head, blinking, successfully avoiding her sister's eyes. Her fists clenched at her sides. Wine, I really don't know what you are talking about only, and I'm avoiding no one. It's your big day. You're going to get married next week. Focus on that, not on me. I'm fine. She walked toward the door and got out of the room quickly before Yunji could get a hold of her. Yunji, why don't run away this? Oh, babe. She began talking but stopped as she saw Jeon entering, sneaking inside her room and stopping in front of her with a raised eyebrow. Cheon, and just when I think you cannot get more beautiful and catch me off guard. Gorgeous, have mercy on me, baby. He placed a hand on his chest, right where his heart was, and threw his head back dramatically. Yunji laughed, despite herself, worries momentarily forgotten. The man she loved knew just how to make her feel at ease always. His smile softened, eyes crinkling at the corners as he walked closer, wounding his arms around her waist. She was adorned in a blush pink midi dress with a square neck. Pastels were her type and they really brought out the beauty in her. And the pendant gifted by him, like always, rested on her neck with other minimal jewelry and soft makeup on her face. She rested her hands on his chest, taking in the charcoal navy suit that hugged his body with the blush pink napkin in his breast pocket. Her smile widened. He had been matching his outfit with hers in small ways like this for every ritual. Cheon, what troubles you, love? He questioned, caressing her cheek, and she sighed, a soft frown forming on her face as she leaned into his touch. Yunji, I'm worried about Ryan and Jungkook. Did you notice these two? They have been avoiding each other. It has been all silent, and you and I both know that's not good. I thought they were getting along, becoming friends, but Cheon, shh, relax, my love. They're kids. Must be some petty fight. Don't stress yourself. If this goes on, I'll talk to them, okay? Don't worry. Focus on yourself now, okay? He silenced her overthinking, placing a chaste kiss on her forehead, and her body, as if starving for it, calmed down in an instant. Giving him her signature smile, she nodded and burrowed herself in his arms. Mrs. June, and there are my beautiful children. She clasped Mrs. Lim's hand with a wide smile. Both women were trembling with excitement. Mrs. Lim was dressed in warm pastels while Mrs. June was in cool shades. Behind them stood their husbands, dressed in dark suits matching their wives, and a similar dress code was followed for the relatives and guests at the venue. Muted pastels and dark neutrals. The decor for the venue was chosen by the youngest of the families, and it had left everyone in awe. The venue was bathed in iridescent twilight, bridging the shades of both sides into a single, breathtaking atmosphere. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling, the white lights a stark contrast yet fitting the midnight opulence. It was truly beautiful. The guests cheered as the engaged couple walked in, looking breathtaking, and took their seats on the couch on the stage. And as their families joined them, the gift exchange began. The was filled with chatter, laughter, and playfulness. The couple looked so good together. I heard their younger siblings chose this decor and venue. Yes, the groom's brother and the bride's sister. I must say, they outdid themselves. Truly, it's really beautiful. I can't wait to see the wedding. Jungkook. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? He clapped his hands once, speaking into the mic, standing with his charming smile on the dance floor. Jungkook. Thank you. So, first of all, congratulations to my young and my beautiful sister in law, Yunji Nuna. He smiled toward the couple seated on the couch. Jungkook. The tradition is done with, and now it's final time to have fun. Here comes the groom's troupe to present you with an amazing dance performance. Let's go. The spotlight dimmed and the audience cheered. Just in the left corner near the stage stood Wyan, her heart racing. Avoiding him when he was not in front of her was one thing, and now seeing him, his charming smile, was another thing. She shook her head, berating herself. She didn't care. She didn't notice the dark circles under his eyes, despite his trying to put on an energetic front. She absolutely didn't raise her eyes on the tailored navy blue suit hugging his body. Her denials came to a stop as the spotlight fell on Jungkook, who stood with his cousins. His expression made her pulse race. Smiling Jungkook was already bad enough. What about the staring into your soul eyes, Jungkook? She knew he could dance very well. He was the head of the dance club in the school after all. The position was going to be passed down to Yeji soon enough, but seeing him move his body so effortlessly from so close, yeah, good luck with that. Yeji, oh look at that smug face. We have to beat him, Van. She cracked her knuckles and Van flinched beside her. Of course, 2 minutes of silence wouldn't make her forget her best friend was still beside her. Yeji was ecstatic to finally attend the wedding and was dolled up in an olive dress, which accentuated her figure so well that Sojun couldn't take his eyes off her before they parted for the performance. Yeji, you go, babe. Why is my boyfriend so handsome? She sighed, her competitive spirit momentarily coming to a stop as she adored Sojun, who was on Jungkook's right. After numerous blackmails and threats, he agreed to dance. He wasn't the best at it, though for Yeji, he might be the next Michael Jackson. Despite herself, a chuckle escaped Vian's lips watching Yeji, but her smile faltered the next moment, goosebumps rising on her skin. But she didn't dare look at the dance floor. She knew that gaze, those eyes, that intensity by heart. The performance was soon coming to an end, so she dragged Yeji with her to gather the group. Wan's dancing had been culture shock for Yeji, who had screamed Wan's ear off. It took her 2 days for her to finally accept the fact seeing the way Wan danced, and it only made them grow closer. Applause and cheers filled the room as Jungkook and the guys walked away from the dance floor. Panting after being done with the performance, he chuckled, watching his Hyung clap the hardest and playfully bicker with Yoonji. One. Quite a performance, wasn't it? Wait for our turn, ladies and gentlemen. We'll make sure you have your standards set high. Jungkook's hair snapped up at the sound of her voice. His breath hitched, a pang going through his heart. And oh, his heart might as well have forgotten to beat. Only he knew what torture he had been through in the last couple of days. A smile formed on his lips, watching the way she commanded the room. Months ago, she hated when a stranger even glanced at her, and now here she was. The slight tremble of her hands didn't go unnoticed by him. The lights dimmed, music started, and Wine stepped into the spotlight. His heart stopped before racing faster. Though he was avoiding her too, he couldn't help himself from wanting to know about her whereabouts. Sojun had filled him in on the dance performance because of Yeji, and he was so ready to witness it with his own eyes. Sojun, damn, my girl is fire. It was still lowly, eyes fixed on Yeji while Jungkook was lost in mine. Her hair, her dress, her expression, her eyes, all of her. He couldn't get enough. He knew Ryan never revealed much of herself, and now, seeing the way she danced, Lord help him from falling harder. His brain and heart had been at a constant war for the past few days. Brain trying to make sense of her words and the hurt she caused, and heart trying to believe the instinct there has to be something wrong. Something just didn't add up. But right now, with the spotlight on her, the small smile, her expression, he didn't want to think about anything else. For this moment, he just wanted to get lost in her. And he did. For the next few minutes, even if the world had an earthquake, he wouldn't know, because never once did his eyes stray from her. And when the performance finally ended, he was left breathless, trying to make sense of the world and his existence. It was like she reset him and pieced him back together again, for good. His brain chemistry had altered the day he had laid his eyes on her. Like right now, his eyes followed her in the dark, feet moving on their own to see her hurrying somewhere. Yeji and the rest of the girls were walking in the opposite direction, while Wine was heading toward the exit. Wine was avoiding people and walked along the walls, clutching her dress. He faintly registered his young speaking in the mic, and they didn't have to worry about hosting now. The couple was going to start a dance, and soon enough, the function would end. Wine. Ouch. Jungkook. Careful. His heart leapt the moment she stumbled, and he was there within a blink of an eye, holding her before she could fall. The deja vu sent a shiver down both of their spines as their eyes locked. His hands were wrapped around her waist, and her head rested on his chest. His heart was going crazy under her palm. They stood still for a while, several unspoken things passing between them. Wyan blinked, coming back to her senses, and stood straight, stepping away from him. He let her, very reluctantly. Without speaking a word, she turned around and shut her eyes when he held her wrist. Wyan, leave my hand. Didn't I tell you to stay away from me? She snapped, hissing lowly, trying to break free from his grip, her heart racing wildly in her chest. She really didn't want to deal with him, not just yet. Jungkook. I know, just that your dress. He uttered calmly, clearing his throat as his ears heated up. Her shoulders tensed, cheeks flushing as she felt the cool air brush against her back. Wine. I know. That's why I said, let me go. I have to fix it. She muttered, a bit timidly, and she felt his grip loosening before tightening again and pulling her back. Wine. What are Her words died in her throat as she felt his fingers timidly brush against her back. His fingers nimbly held the lace which had come loose, and as if he had all the time in the world, he started tying it. Wan bit her lip, cursing her sister internally for forcing her to wear a backless dress that was just held by thin lace. It loosened during the last step of her dance performance, hence, she had sprinted away to fix it before the whole dress could come loose. But right now, she didn't know what was worse, his heat against her back but not touching her, or his fingers which didn't touch her skin yet still left a wake of fire behind. His situation was no different, if not worse. Lavender silk adorned her figure, just a bracelet in her right hand, her hair done in a loose updo, and God save him when he saw the back of her dress. Pale skin on display, and at this close he could just count the number of moles on her back. His jaw tightened, imagining the number of people who had seen her back. An ugly feeling settled in his chest, and all he wished was to tuck her away in his arms where no one could see her. But he couldn't. Not when she told him to stay away with so much hatred. With a final nod, he let his hands fall. But one glance at her back again, and he didn't know what came over him when she stepped forward. A gasp escaped her lips as he tugged her back again, this time flush against him. Her stomach fluttered, skin heating under his palm, which was played flat, only the thin barrier of her dress separating them. Tension throbbed like a live wire beneath her skin. Felt aware of every nerve ending. He could unravel her with just one look, and now that his warmth was so close, it was just unfair. Then came his breath against her ear. Warm, teasing. She shut her eyes as he whispered, Jungkook, you might catch a cold. And sweetheart, he paused, lingering for a breath that might as well have been an eternity. She curled her toes inwards, tilting her head just a bit. Jungkook, I can't fight every evil eye on you, even if I so desperately want to. With that, he stepped back. The absence of his warmth made goosebumps rise on her skin with cold, while she felt her hair brushing against her back. He had tugged her bun open. She clenched her fists. Her racing pulse told a different story, but her eyes held anger as she turned around. The way he had whispered her nickname, she hated to even think that she missed it. Vine, you? She pointed an accusing finger at him, but he didn't let her speak. Jungkook, are looking handsome. I know, thank you. But everything pales in front of you, gorgeous. I'll have to go now. He winked at her, relishing in the way her nose scrunched, cheeks flushing, this time from anger. Oh, how he had missed her. Without saying anything else, he turned around and walked away, leaving her fuming behind. It was like they were back at square one. Just this time, her dislike seemed close to hatred. It was fine. He could deal with her hatred, but not with her silence. The past 3 days were enough torture. He never wanted to go through that again. She hurt him, and he deserved to know why. He just didn't know how. For now, he wasn't ready to talk about it to her yet. I don't know what went wrong, but I'm never going to let you go, sweetheart. Not until I get my answers. Yeji, have I ever told you how much I hate this subject? She grumbled, planting her forehead on the desk with a small thud, and Vian nodded her head before speaking. Vian, yes, you say that for every subject, and you have been saying this for the past week of this workshop. It won't console you if I say again that only a couple more days before this ends, she muttered, and Yeji glanced up at her, lowering her eyes. Yeji, thanks, bestie. Your sarcasm is just what I needed. I don't like you right now. Oh, I missed my boyfriend. Her complaints earned a chuckle from Vian. She patted Yeji's back, and Yeji, after a few minutes of rambling, sat up straight, waiting for the teacher to show up. Yeji. Oh, here I am complaining about a subject. At least I don't have to bear an annoying classmate like Jungkook. Her words froze Vian's hand on her back, and she leaned back to look at Yeji properly. Vian, what do you mean? Yeji, huh? You don't know? She looked at Vian as if she had grown horns, and Vian could just shake her head in denial, earning a gasp from Yeji. Yeji, Vian, how can you not know? Well, guess what? Let it be. You must have been busy with your sister. Now listen, you remember that day when we were searching for the boys during lunch? She questioned, turning her seat and clasping her hands. The mention of that day formed a lump in Vian's throat, but she managed to nod. Yeji, you had disappeared later. Jungkook told us that you weren't well. But later that day, when Sojun and I were talking on the call, he mentioned a girl. She paused and Van's heart skipped a beat. The cursed conversation hadn't left her mind and she had repeated it over and over again. Yeji, Jungkook's classmate, whom he is very annoyed with, and had ranted to Sojun about her the same day. Her name is Kyungmi, if I'm not wrong. The one who sometimes keeps giving you nasty looks. I don't know why. Yeji shook her head, anger and protectiveness flashing on her face before she continued. But Ryan couldn't move. She dreaded what was about to come next. Yeji. Her parents are friends with Jungkook's, so you know he has to be polite, but the girl is attached to him like a leech. And this is not the first case. We have seen Jungkook facing such obsessive behaviors before too. Yeji. It's exhausting, annoying, and heartbreaking to see that just because someone accepts attention, people cross boundaries and don't respect privacy, which is a basic human right. I hope Jungkook figures out something soon or else. Yeji kept blabbering, but Ryan had tuned out most of her talk. A ball of anxiety knotted in her stomach, and she felt as if she would throw up. He wasn't talking about her that day. Her heart broke for him, hearing everything Yeji said. She made her own conclusions. Seeing them hugging in the corridor, she ran away. She didn't confront him, as she should have. And God, she called him a hypocrite, a playboy. The look on his face that day flashed before her eyes. It left a sour taste in her mouth. She had let the past take hold of her actions. She heard the boy she had started to care for. She heard the boy who had only shown kindness to her since the first moment they met. She felt awful. Wine regretted hurting Jungkook, and now she was hoping he would hear her out. She had to apologize and make things right. The next whole hour, instead of focusing on the lecture, she was zoned out, thinking about how to fix the mess her impulsive actions had created. Yes, she had a plan. Wine, I absolutely have no plan. She groaned, burying her face into the pillow. Her muffled screams echoed in her bedroom, stark against the quiet night. The whole day she tried to meet or talk to Jungkook, but she couldn't. He was in his last year and was busier than she was. She couldn't get a hold of him. And when she got the chance, he avoided her, unlike that night. His silence hurt her more than she expected it to. She believed she deserved it for hurting him. On top of that, as the wedding grew closer, the work on her shoulders just increased. She could barely get the time to breathe, let alone talk to Jungkook and clear the misunderstanding. Oh, how it tortured her. She couldn't even text him. What was she even going to say? Ryan, I hate my life. Yunji, I don't think it's so bad. Her voice made Ryan raise her head. She managed a small smile as Yunji sat on the bed beside her. Ryan, Shouldn't you be sleeping or talking the night away with your fiance? The wedding is in 2 days. You need all the glow to stay intact. Unni, she complained, but her actions were a contrast to her words. Bracing herself on her arms, she shifted, squirming around on her bed until her head was nestled on Yunji's lap. A soft laugh escaped Yunji's lips, fingers threading through Vian's hair by instinct. Yunji, you don't worry about me. Worry about those dark circles under your eyes. The exhaustion is screaming on your face. What's wrong, Vian? Her voice softened in the end, and Vian buried her face deeper into her warmth. Her eyes stung. The days of holding it all in came crashing down. She sniffed, rubbing her nose against her sister's nightgown. Yunji, oh, Vian, talk to me, baby. She patted her head, letting Vian take her time. When she called her baby, it didn't come from a habit but from the truth. Yunji had really raised Vian as her own, being the elder one. It wasn't because her parents told her to. It was because Vian naturally gravitated toward her whenever she had a problem. Yunji's heart softened as Vian looked up at her with red rimmed eyes. She was reminded of the 1 year old who always waddled toward her, crying whenever something hurt her. Vian, I did Oppa and you have fought? Not the usual banter. In a way, someone really got hurt because of the other's words. What did you do then? She muttered, fiddling with the hem of her t shirt, and Yunji blinked. It was unexpected, but she answered with a smile. Yunji, we have. A lot of times. Every couple fights like that. Even friends do. To mend it, we just talked, communicated, and confronted. Apologized when needed. She spoke, caressing Vian's head and smiled down at her. A chuckle escaped her lips, reminiscing about all the fights that seemed silly now. Yunji, what keeps a relationship intact is choosing each other every day, forgiving the mistakes any human could make, and growing together. That's what we did too. And look at us. We are going to get married in 2 days. Wayan smiled, sitting up and hugging Yunji. Another surprise for the day, but Yunji wrapped her arms around Wayan nevertheless. Yunji, no problem is so big you cannot solve it by talking, Wayan. And why is my gangster so emotional today? She chuckled, trying to lighten the mood, but Wine's meek whisper formed a lump in her throat. Wine, I'll miss you only, like a lot. But I'm happy for you. Yunji, I'll miss you too, my gangster. A dry laugh escaped Wine's lips, and Yunji smiled, caressing her hair. The sisters stayed like that for a while, relishing in the moment that brought them peace. Wine, I can't do any more than this. Let's finish the series we were watching. She spoke, pulling away from the hug and wiping her face. Picking up her laptop from the desk, she switched it on, smiling as Yunji's laugh reached her ears. Yunji, fine, fine. Guess this was my lucky day after all. It was good while it lasted. She shifted, lying on the bed on her stomach beside Ryan as she clicked play. Laughter surrounded the room as Ryan made snarky comments about the characters' choices when they dived deeper into the series. Legs swinging in the air, staying up in the night, just like they always did. Mrs. Lim, oh, how much I'm going to miss this chaos, she whispered, leaning her head against her husband's shoulder, who smiled at the girls. Hearing the noise, they had come to check in, but stayed out of sight. Mr. Lim, me too, honey. His voice carried a hint of nostalgia, remembering the way both the sisters would sneak back into one room when made to sleep separately, just to stay up at night and have fun under their noses. Some things never change. Jungkook's point of view. Jungkook. And here goes the brooch. Damn, Hyun. I must say, you outdid yourself today. I still bet Nuna is looking more beautiful than you. I chuckled as my brother smacked me on the head, fixing his blazer, nervousness visible on his face as he checked himself in the mirror. Cheon, of course she is. Yunji is the most beautiful woman I have ever met. A smile curved on his lips, nevertheless, and I walked back, tidying up his things in the room. He was nervous, and I was ecstatic. My brother was getting married too. Mrs. Jeong, oh my, look at our handsome son, honey. Our parents walked in, Mom clutching her heart, and I couldn't help but shake my head. Dad wrapped his arm around Mom's shoulder, nodding in agreement. Mr. Gion, he is. How do you feel, my boy? Dad's question wiped the small smile on Hyung's face, and I pinched the bridge of my nose. Wrong question, Dad. Cheon, not good. Not at all good. What if Yunji realizes I'm not the one for her and calls off the wedding? What if she realizes she's not ready for the big step yet? What if I'm not ready? What if I tried my best to hold back? Really? But my hand decided it was enough and raised itself to give a strong smack on the back of my brother's head, shutting him up. Mom gasped, smacking my arm, but I spoke up before she could scold me. Jungkook, no, stop right there. I've been tortured enough. This man, your son right here, has asked each question at least 20 times since the last hour I have been here. I cannot handle his wedding nerves, dear mother. You do. Good luck. I joined my hands in front of them, earning a laugh from my father while Young looked at me sheepishly. I could just wonder how Nuna must be doing. Mom sealed her lips, her frown softening, and I walked out of the room. Though I was frustrated, I couldn't help the chuckle escaping my lips. Walking toward the other end of the venue, which was a pristine, luxurious villa, I entered the bride's den. The villa was situated on the outskirts of the city, near the beach. A few guest houses surrounded the property where some of the close relatives from both sides were staying. The ceremony was to take place on the beach, just behind the villa. Jungkook. And I thought supermodels looked the best. I shut the door behind me, and my brother's to be wife, Nyunji Nuna, chuckled from her seat in front of the vanity. She was getting the last minute touch ups done. I don't know how to describe a wedding dress, but what Nuna was wearing was truly beautiful. Even I couldn't help but stare at the gown, puffed around the chair, sweetheart neckline, if I'm not wrong, and little pearls attached intricately as part of the design. Her hair was tied up in a loose bun while the stylist worked on her face. I didn't understand the makeup, but it looked pretty. I smiled as I spotted the pendant on her neck, gifted by my young. It just fit right in. Jungkook, you look very pretty, Nuna. I stopped behind her chair, and she smiled up at me. I was happy. Someone like her was entering my brother's life to make it even more beautiful. Yunji, thank you, Cook. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be with Jian? I smiled at the nickname but feigned a wounded look clutching my chest. She rolled her eyes at my dramatics, and the gesture sent a pang of familiarity through me. I ignored it for now. Jungkook, you call me Cook, something that only my family does. And yet, you ask such an absurd question? Not fair, Nina. I complained, and she laughed, throwing her head back, some tension easing from her shoulders that I had spotted when I first walked in. Jungkook, I just came to give this. It's not much, but I have heard mom saying it brings good luck and protects from evil eyes. Something like that. I scratched the back of my neck, feeling my ears heating up as I kept the small box in front of her on the vanity table. I swear I could see the stylish smiling but didn't comment on it. Nuna's smile softened, and she picked up the box and opened it. A soft gasp escaped her lips. Yunji, this is truly thoughtful, Cook. Thank you so much. She squeezed my hand, caressing the glass mandarin duck with her other hand. It was sitting snug in the soft material inside the box, with the pouches beside it, filled with red beans and sticky rice. Jump. I'll go now. Need to check on a few things. I muttered and rushed out of the room without giving her a chance to speak. On my way out, I bumped into someone. Jungkook. Oh, I'm sorry. My breath hitched as my eyes locked with a pair of black ones. Recognition flashed in them before they turned blank. Fine. It's fine. What? What are you doing? She muttered, clearing her throat, but I couldn't move my eyes from her face. Days without seeing her. Days without hearing her voice. School and wedding preparations kept me busy, and I was being tortured. Only because she wasn't around. Yeah, when she tried to talk to me, I avoided her. Don't ask me why. And now, words died in my throat as I looked at the soft pink dusting on her cheeks. Could she be any prettier? My sweetheart. I exhaled shakily. I didn't register anything else, just her eyes. They didn't look at me with hatred, not even with disdain. What was I missing? Was she not angry with me? My blood twitched, pulse racing as I saw something profound flashing in her eyes. Jump. I have to go. Sorry again. She blinked as I darted past her, cursing myself internally. What is wrong with me? So what if my heart ministered with worry? I should have stayed and talked to her. Oh, Jungkook. Stupid. Stupid Jungkook. My timing is really the worst.